It's showtime, folks. Welcome in. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. He's Big Joe Dubin. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier on the ones and twos. Ian Safar lurking about as well. A good time this morning. What's up, JoJo?
It is absolutely beautiful outside. So whatever you do today, get outside. Have your meetings outside. Do whatever you need to. Just get outside. I mean, it's beautiful. It's going to be beautiful.
Sunroof was open today, and it might actually still be open now that I think about it.
Tell me, I'm telling you right now, a sunroof better than a convertible.
Oh, yeah. No, I like it because it keeps things contained and stuff. So no, it was good. It was good. It was a nice breeze this morning. Cracked the windows a little bit too, and traffic was a B word, but that's to be expected. So
well, it happens all the time, buddy. But glad you're here safe and sound.
No, I'm here. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, I bet you are.
And been here a lot lately, but
that's okay, man. But
9 to 11 is my sanctuary, is my fun time.
It is.
And I get to hang out with you guys.
So tonight might be a Nashville Sounds kind of night. Doubleheader?
Yeah. A double.
Do they go 7 innings? Is that what they do for a doubleheader?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like that, but yeah, they do.
Why don't you like that?
Because a baseball game is 9 innings.
Yes, indeedy. It sure is.
Yeah. I really like of silly little things that I get pissed off about. That's one of them.
Do they still do the ghost runner in extra innings?
Yeah.
Did the Major League Baseball do that too?
Yeah. I don't love that either.
No, not at all. And I always hated the softball when you go to the plate and it's already 1 ball and 1 strike. Because you never swing at the first pitch.
No,
then it's 1 and 2. And then if you foul off the third pitch, you're out. So I'm like, I don't like this. But you learn to hit the first pitch, it comes in there. I don't know. Softball, man. You good softball player, Chase?
No, I was not.
I'm not good either, man.
No, I was not.
Not at all.
So, I mean, look, I'm not very athletic, and I admit that. And I like to talk sports, not play sports.
I was in charge of a softball team years ago, and you can play with 9. Usually it's 10. You can play with 9, though. And then we had 8, and it was an important game, and I got a guy I work with at Channel 2 to come out and to play. And the first time he was at bat, he tried to go to second and broke his ankle.
Oh.
So he's at second base cussing at me for dragging him out there on the field. I'm like, nobody slides.
So it's your fault.
Nobody slides in softball. Why are you sliding? It's softball. It's not the World Series. So I blamed him for that. So that's where we were in this world today, buddy.
So I'm cooking up Pop-Tarts with churro sauce from the Cumberland River with Merrill Rose.
Back in the kitchen. Chase is back in the kitchen. Every day on the show, you're back in the kitchen cooking something.
That's pretty funny.
I get those because when I was over at Channel 4, when I have to do the Today in Nashville show, is all these cooking segments, and it was just like, what now? What's going on now? And so shout out to Merrill Rose, right?
Oh yeah, you talk about like the greats in Nashville broadcasting.
Yeah,
she's certainly one of them.
Shoot yeah, buddy.
Faux show.
Faux show.
All right, let's get to our question of the day, because you presented this to the committee last night. And I think this is a good one.
All right, Dr. Crane, I need the match game music. Now, we talk all the time about our listening audience. You guys are the 98% of the reason this show is fun because of your responses and everything. So,
and the reason it exists.
The reason it exists, right. So I'm
gonna be honest with you, I thought this thing would last 2 months. So
look at us now. Look at us now. So when the music starts hitting, we'll give the question of the day. All right, so allegedly, Bill Belichick is engaged to his girlfriend. So
Jordan Hudson.
Yes. So thank you, both of you, because you're going to give us so much content throughout the summer that we need to send them a card or something. So here's the match game question of today. You could call 615-737-1025 or the text line, sponsored by
WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
615-737-1025. All right, Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson are allegedly engaged, and there is a prenup involved. Bill Belichick said that she can have his Super Bowl rings and Super Bowl trophies, but she cannot have blank. Bill Belichick said his fiance, allegedly, with the prenup, She can have his Super Bowl rings and his Super Bowl trophies, but she cannot have blank. Let us know what you think it is. First thing that came to mind in this, pride. I don't know why, just pride on this. So your responses, we'll read them all. So bring them
All
in.
right, so Bill Belichick, I'm putting this on X as well. Bill Belichick says Jordan Hudson can have his Super Bowl rings,
Super Bowl trophies, but she cannot have blank.
boom, we got it. Very good.
I mean, how do his kids feel about this? If there's not a prenup, I mean, their inheritance is gone. I mean, he's got to sign. Do you think they sign a prenup? There's no way.
I would hope so.
There's no way she agrees.
Like,
to
has
a
he
prenup.
gone this crazy?
I guess so, man.
I mean, I want to be respectful with how I word this, but
Don't.
it's like, I mean, I get it. He's in his 70s. She's 24.
It's
Like,
pretty hot.
she's very attractive. Every guy that's listening right now is, whether you're, if you're around your missus, you're going, oh, I can't believe this. But really, you're thinking like, well, good for him.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
Right.
Oh, it's terrible.
okay, like we're all guys. I get it. But like, brother, do you see the mess that it's caused?
I don't.
Like, I get love is blind, but
That's a good one for this relationship.
Love is Stevie Wonder. Get it?
Oh, I get it, and you're about to get it too at 11:01.
Hey,
I'm
Ian,
just
can
saying.
Ian, can you take over?
Oh my!
I mean, there's nothing
goodness.
wrong. I'm just saying it's the truth.
Dr. Crane, I'm going to need you to go see HR.
Can we see you at 11:01?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Now he's nervous.
Oh,
Oh,
that
you
was
got a
good.
response. Bill Belichick. She can have his Super Bowl rings and trophies, but he cannot have his game-worn Tom Brady jockstrap. Nash Bourbon guy. Thank you.
Kevin says she cannot have Tom Brady's phone number.
It's gonna be all Tom Brady stuff.
Michael and Madison says the ripped Navy sweatshirt.
That should be in the Hall of Fame because
Yeah,
that
bro.
got so much talk when he did that. That should be in the Hall of Fame.
Gunner says the sleeves from his hoodies.
Exactly.
Another for Tom Brady's phone number. Another for hoodies. Here's a good one. Devin and Dixon, Tom Brady's deflated footballs.
I'm sure Bill's got some deflated
Oh,
footballs
boy.
hanging around.
Hey-oh, hello.
2 meetings at HR at 11:01.
I'll
Welcome
have it catered.
back.
Oh God.
Dylan says she can't have his autographed Tom Brady poster covered in lipstick markings that he keeps in his basement.
Oh, that's so great.
0365. She cannot have his immaculate wardrobe that he wears to interviews.
Gosh. I mean, he truly does not care what you think. He even
No.
said in the interview, he does not care what you think at all.
I wish I could read what Robbie Stanley just said. Dr. Crane, that might have been the funniest thing you've ever said on the show.
Thank you.
So good. So good. 615-737-1025. So our question of the day is Bill Belichick to his alleged fiance, Jordan Hudson. You can have my Super Bowl rings, my trophies, but you cannot have blank.
Exactly it.
So we will take those throughout the show. John McClain, are you going to ask John this question? You should.
No, I think it's the bigger question is about have we ever seen anything like this in the sports world?
I'm sure we have.
Yeah.
I mean, this is Yoko Ono-esque, I guess.
What did she break up?
She broke up the beat. Well, yeah, but she might get him fired from North Carolina.
I just don't. I mean, it's, people are laughing like Anna Nicole Smith when she married the old guy,
Yeah.
who I never heard of until she got engaged to
Yeah.
him. I mean, this is I'm not saying he's the greatest. He's one of the greatest football coaches of all time. And now he's dipped down to college, and we know how that works. Never turns out quite well. and now all this is going on. I mean, do you want the talk to be about your relationship or about your program? Indirectly, it goes to your program.
Right.
So I don't know. But look, man, if he's happy, good for him. But there's no way she's signing a prenup. There is no way. There's no way.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can see her now, like him, like, hey, dude, you mind signing this? She's like, no, and rips it up in his face and walks off. How dare you?
And then he goes, okay.
Sorry about that.
Goes and tells Steve, and he has 2 sons, or does he have a
I
daughter?
think he's got 2 sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tells them, like, sorry guys,
Yep. Oops.
she's getting it all. You'll understand when you're older.
Oh my goodness. I know, but again, thank you for the content you're going to give us throughout the summer, because May, June, and July are slow times.
Yes.
Big
yes,
time.
they are.
Oh, show.
615-737-1025. Chase Matthew says, Chase, you're forgetting about OJ. I mean, I guess she was
Younger, Nicole.
younger. Yeah. But I don't know. He was infatuated with her.
Yeah.
I mean,
And she, I don't think took anything, right? I mean, I think they had kids together and all that.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
so
what was their age difference? Like 20 years?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
this is 50, so this is a little bit different.
8 when she passed, and that was 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 or 12. I don't know. I know her sister was older. I don't.
We can look it up. We'll look it up.
Dr. Crane, that's your job.
For
Working
now.
on it.
For now. It's 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. It's Chase and Big Joe on a Wednesday, 1025-1063 The Game. Little Rolling Stones on a Wednesday. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hope you're having a good day. Our question of the day, a little match game. Bill Belichick says his alleged fiance, Jordan Hudson, can have his Super Bowl rings, his trophies, all of that stuff, but she cannot have blank. 615-737-1025. You can also tweet at us. I don't even know how to say it anymore. At Chase on Game, at Big Joe on the Go, at 102.5 The Game as well. And John McClain going to join us at the bottom of the hour. But I've noticed that, yesterday we played Brian Callahan's press conference. We had a heated discussion over this point system thing that they're doing in May. Stillman, I guess, went off about it. It's been a big topic of conversation. So if you missed it, this was what Brian Callahan said that he's doing with the offseason program.
Keep it going that way when you turn to offense, defense, man.
For what? One more time.
The four teams.
There's 8 teams.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 8 of them.
And do you keep that going when you turn into offense, defense?
Yeah, it's all. They're still also. The cool part about it is, you can earn points a lot of different ways. For example, let's say defensively, Amani Hooker has an interception. That's a 3-point swing for his team. But on his team is also the quarterback, and the quarterback threw the interception, so that's a minus 3-point swing. So really, he's a net zero for his team for that particular play. But what it does is you see more communication, more conversation, more accountability to other folks around the team, and they get to know each other on a different level than maybe just offense and defense. That's one of the things I think we need to do a better job of, is just the whole team interacting more. Not just by position or by side of the ball. And I think so far it's been a lot of fun. I think the guys have enjoyed it, and I think it's also grown those leadership qualities, those accountability to each other, as opposed to just trying to be the best offense or the best defense that day.
So there you go. That is the point system. I don't have a problem with it in May.
It just sounds it sounds like I'm going to basketball camp at the Y for 12 and under. I mean,
essentially right now,
ridiculous concept.
Essentially right now, that's what they're doing. Like, that's what this is. This is summer camp. Like, this is.
No, don't look at it that way. You are a professional football player to get better out there. You think Jeffrey Simmons gives a rat's ass what the fourth team DB does when he drops an interception? I lost my voice on that.
He's
one.
probably going to say he does.
He's not going.
And then he's going to put an Instagram reel up about how everybody doubts him.
I mean, what do you win? What do you give? What do you win?
I don't know.
Can I tell you a quick story?
Sure.
Worked with the
You're
guy
gonna do
one
it
time.
anyway.
I worked with the guy one time who was in charge of getting Green Bay Packers players in the 90s to come to the coaches show, right? They were getting paid $200. What's $200 to a guy who's making $500,000? Nothing. You know what they did? They started giving out 2 DVD VCR combos. My friend says every Green Bay Packer signed up to be on that show because they had something tangible to hand out.
Right.
What's the prize at the end of the day? Is it cash? These guys don't care about money.
No, I don't know.
Is it an ice cream social?
I have no idea.
So I'd like to know what the prize is for winning. Do you get a steak dinner? I mean, I don't know. Does Amy fly you to Houston?
At some point, I hope that Brian Callahan joins our show. We're efforting to make that happen. We'll ask him that. I'll let you ask him.
I'd love to. What's the incentive? What do you get at the end of the day? I cannot believe it was not asked yesterday.
Maybe it was and we missed it. I don't know. I don't think it was.
I don't think it was asked. What's the payoff on this? Does the other guys have to run? I don't know this. The collective bargaining agreement.
It's creating a different type of competition while also having bonding. Because my guess is it's not just random teams that he's put together. It's probably there's probably a purpose behind who he's put together. So that's how I view it.
I just think it's just a waste of time. Go out and do one-on-one battles and, practice. Not like, Colton Dowell, touchdown, 3 points. Good job, buddy.
But you can't do regular practice right now.
No, but you can go to the weight room. Do all that stuff.
Well, they're doing that.
I don't want to do point things.
They're doing that.
I know they're doing it, but go do more of it. Don't do point things.
You act like that this is taking away from the work that they're supposed to be doing. It's not. It's a part of it.
How is it a part of it? Show me how they're getting better
They're getting
at a stupid point system. I'd like to know.
they're getting points for doing the work that they were already going to be doing.
And if they get all A's, they get spaghetti.
I guess
This is
they get to go to Toys R Us and pick out a toy.
Or-
I don't know.
I wouldn't mind that. If that was the price, I wouldn't. You got $50 to go to you got to spend it at Toys R Us. I wouldn't mind that. This is just nonsense. Nobody else in the league is doing this that I'm reading about. Nobody else doing this. Go practice.
That you know of.
Show me your 101. Show me your cut drills. Show me out, battle 101 with the DBs and the wide receivers. Do pass blocking. Do that stuff. Do the stuff that's going to make you better. You think Cam Ward's going to sit on the podium in November or January or February, when the damn Super Bowl played? February. In Miami, like, hey, how do you think you got here? Well, in May, we had a point system, and we just got points, and it really put us all together. Doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
7138 says, "Why does Joe hate fun?"
I love fun. I love fun all the time.
Wes in Clarksville says Pollard said he doesn't even know what he wins.
All right, so he was asked.
I guess.
Okay.
Chris in Nashville, I'm embarrassed for Callahan. Why?
Yeah.
It's May.
Thank you, Chris.
It's May. Like I just
So when do we start working? August?
they're working now. You guys act like they're not doing any work because they're getting a point system. They are doing the work.
Point system.
Like if they could be out. All right. So they showed on social media, which you said they're doing this for social media.
Yes.
That they did like a tug of war game with a weight. You got a problem with that?
They did a tug. Explain this. I don't go to that. account a
Basically
lot.
they took the rope. They have I don't know, it looked like a 50-pound weight or something tied in the middle, and they basically put two linemen against each other, and you have to pull the weight a certain direction.
Not really.
That's what she said.
I don't know if that one really counts, but
It's always great.
but
Uh,
I mean, like that. I mean, that's a standard drill. They do tug of war. They do
that
things
is,
like,
I have never in my entire life done tug of war during practice.
Really?
Yeah. Never.
we did.
Never.
We
And
did
I
this-
guarantee we'll call 100 coaches. 98 of them will say they've never done that.
we did. It
Tug
was
of war.
No, I mean it was like a
Did you play grab ass too in the locker room?
Will you shut up and let me finish? My God. No, it was like instead of, I guess, the Oklahoma drill, because you couldn't really do the Oklahoma drill anymore. It was basically like it was putting the lineman, it was a strength thing. So it was, but it had the weight in the middle. It wasn't just and you were trying to pull the weight first. It was a workout drill.
Okay. Go in the gym and do that. All right. That does not belong in the practice field.
the gym's too small, Joe.
That
you
does
can
not
do, you
belong-
can do that stuff outside. Like you're grasping at straws here.
I'm not. A tug of war. Do you think a tug of war drill is going to get you to the Super Bowl? Be honest. Be honest with me.
I don't know, but like
it's
why?
not.
But why is that so, like, are you not working out? Is that not a workout?
You get limited time on that
Is that-
practice field. That is not a workout. A tug of war
Right.
drill.
That's not practice. That's part of working out, but you can go outside to do that.
But don't your practice time? That's
That's
fine.
not who said that was the practice
You
time.
said
No,
it.
I didn't. I said that was part of the things that they're doing and that football teams do that.
in practice.
And then they have the practice.
you don't do that on the field.
Good.
If you want to do it someplace else, that's fine. That is not how you get to the Super Bowl.
All right, guys, Titans, you can't work out on the field. You can only throw a football on the
You
field.
can practice.
If
on the
I
field.
see one of you do a sit up on the field, you're off the freaking team.
Now you're going too extreme.
Well, that's
Don't
what
get-
you sound like right
Don't
now.
don't get upset.
That's what you sound like.
It when you're not winning an argument, you tend to lash out at people. Don't lash out at me. I'm telling you right now, a tug of war drill is not going to get you anywhere. All right.
Okay.
If that's part of your strength training, that's fine. But on the practice field, you're practicing. And what do you get? Look, the strongest players I ever played with were the worst players. I'm telling you right now, the strongest players I had on my team were the worst players. We whipped their ass constantly because they didn't know how to set in drills. They had terrible technique. Yeah, they could bench press 550 pounds. So what? If you're not locking a guy underneath and driving him down the field, then what are you doing? That's what you got to work on. We're
All right.
wasting. You got limited time.
0900 says, anytime you can add competition to anything, It could only help, not hurt. May not help, but it's not a bad thing at all. Now he's followed up. Ask Joe this: why keep score in the preseason then?
Still playing a game.
Yeah, but it doesn't count.
How do you know?
Doesn't count for. Well, it counts.
Then why
for,
you keeping score?
That's why he's asking you.
Yeah, you win a game. You're playing a game. It counts in the preseason standings.
Okay, but to his point, doing the point system for doing the things that you would already be doing, which is exactly what they're doing. They have not added anything that they would not already be doing, and you're keeping score on it. He's asking, okay, if you hate it so much, why keep score in the preseason?
I love football. That's football. That's a game. You're trying to win a game. That game counts in the preseason.
0388. Big Joe needs to move to 2 to 6 with the other curmudgeon.
I tell me how the team better. I don't get it. Jared Stillman's 100% correct. This is nothing. This is nothing. By the way, David Letterman got in trouble one time for telling a joke about the preseason football. Do you know this?
No.
So Art Rooney, the Steelers owner, died during the preseason. And then David Letterman says, because he died during preseason, does it count? He had to issue an apology.
Oops.
After that.
Dr.
Sorry.
Crane, you should
Funny.
probably call him and get some advice.
Listen, I'm not on a lone island on this one, all right?
Then why is Ian sticking around? Huh?
Excuse me?
11:01.
I mean, we're getting it catered, baby.
Cater what?
The food
Where?
for our meeting.
for our HR meeting.
Oh,
He's continuing the joke.
Yeah, Joe.
my
Come
bad.
on, man.
I'm sorry.
You're the jokester.
You're in a good mood today. Did you get the car fixed?
I got good news about the car.
Okay,
So it's a fixable thing.
good.
Hopefully, it'll not be too big of a price tag.
To what? You don't have to.
I'm sorry. Pardon you? Wow.
All right, let's go to. We need to get to John McClain. John McClain going to join us coming up next. Jason Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. No, don't worry. The HR has not taken Dr. Crane away yet. You got a lot going on back there.
It is quite eventful back here.
Yeah. You got to have a fiddle in the band. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 the game. Let's go to John McClain, who is presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. John, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I want to start with this because Joe and I have been arguing since yesterday about this. So Brian Callahan basically has, in OTAs or phase 2 or whatever this is, has split his team. He's got 90-something players into 8 teams, and they're basically doing all the things that they would normally be doing, but having a competition. So you get points for doing certain things. You get points taken away for doing bad things. And so it's adding an extra incentive. Joe thinks it's stupid. I don't have a problem with it. It's in May. Have you heard of other teams doing anything similar?
I have not. I think players are naturally competitive, and anything where there is a carrot at the end of the rope, I think, so they get bragging rights. I like it. Now, they're going to be excited about it anyway, just because they're back on the field for the first time and it's real easy. But I kind of like the idea of giving the players something to compete for. I don't know if they're giving any kind of prizes at the end of it. Probably if they do, it's a violation of the salary cap in some way, but I like the idea.
What did you think about the NFL schedule? Titans fans were a little upset not having a primetime game, but I understand it. They haven't earned it. But what did you kind of think of the overall layout?
All Cleveland fans are upset. They don't have one either. I think there were, 3 teams? Fans like them, teams like them, but players like not having to play at night. They like to get it over with, unless it's at home, a primetime game, and you don't worry about getting killed. So I don't think much about it. I always look to see like home games, primetime games, who you're playing late in the season, possible snow games and things like that. And I don't have a problem with the best teams getting all the national TV appearances. They've earned it. And I have a problem with the Falcons getting as many as they did. I just don't see it at all. And all it takes is one quarterback injury, like Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago, and all those national games they put them on turned out to be dogs. So that's something they always have to worry about.
It's funny, back in the day, say 80s and 90s, the idea of flipping a football game, a primetime game, never existed. And that just shows you the power of television and everything. The fact that if a game is a dud in week 13 and 14, the league knows nobody's going to watch it. Might as well switch to a primetime game. I've never had a problem with it.
I thought it was one of the smartest things NFL ever did. Colleges could do it. If colleges could do it, why could the NFL not do it? Also, colleges to play preseason games. They just start playing. And everybody loves the game. So I don't know why the NFL's needed preseason games when they could have joint practices, which coaches like better. But anything to make it more competitive is good. And one of the reasons Roger Goodell wanted to reseed for the playoffs, and I didn't like this, and it's not going to pass, is because coaches always believe, and general managers, you win a division, doesn't matter how good or bad it is, that should stand for something. So you get a home game. A perfect example is the Texans. They've won the AFC South the last 2 years. They bombarded Cleveland and the Chargers in the playoffs at home, and then lost on the road to Baltimore and Kansas City. If they'd started on Baltimore and Kansas City, they'd have been eliminated in the wild card round. So I like the fact that that's not going to pass, but Goodell wants it, and he thinks at the end of the year it would be when you have seeding at stake and home games at stake, it goes right to that last game in most cases, because then you don't see teams resting players and the games are better and more competitive and more interesting.
I get it. And then, I'm not a fan of it because I tell all the time, John, and you understand this being in Houston, to win that division, get the playoffs, all the Texans have to do is be better than 3 other teams. Titans, Colts, and Jags, and same for the Titans. I like the way it is. Just stop screwing with it. And when Mike Tomlin comes out and says, I don't like it either, that just backs up. And he's respected around the league. I like the fact they've put this off for a while.
Another thing that wouldn't be fair, if you say win the AFC South, which looks like it'll be the worst division in football. If you win that, but you don't get to play a playoff game at home and you lose on the road, you should not have to play a first place schedule the next season. I don't think that would be fair. That's another offshoot of it, which I think it hasn't passed. But if Goodell wants it, Goodell's going to get it. It doesn't matter. It might be next year or the year after, but it's coming.
John, the tush push thing is very, I laugh at it, but it's confusing and everything else that goes along with it because, they try to ban it. What's the play I remember the Dave Casper roll the football into the end zone. I know they banned that play 45 years ago, but I'm trying to think of another play that they've banned or they're trying to ban to get away from. I got no problem with the tush push, but everybody else seems to have a problem with it. What do you think?
I'm with you. I got no problem. I think it's a coward's way out when you can't stop something, so you want to legislate it and call it illegal. The way they'll get around it is they will say, like it used to be, you cannot propel a player forward unless you're blocking for him. And that was rules always on the books, but they never called it. And then now that Philadelphia, when they ban propelling the players forward, they won't call it the tush push ban, but the media will and the fans will. But when you got Saquon Barkley and you got a great running quarterback who's probably the strongest quarterback in the league, along with Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, they're still going to score a lot of touchdowns from the 1-yard line. They also have an outstanding offensive line. And what they're going to do is provide incentive to the defending Super Bowl champion and just make them mad.
Oh, absolutely. All right, we'll take a break with John. John, we come back. I want to get your thoughts and opinion on the Olympics and flag football because I got a small problem with it. We'll get your reaction to that next. You're listening to the Chase and Big Joe Show right here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. All right, welcome back to the Chase and Big Joe Show. A little AC/DC for you tonight at Nissan Stadium. It's going to be absolutely beautiful. So get out there. If you're going to AC/DC, you're going to have a great time tonight since last night was awful with the weather. Let's bring back John McClain, brought to you by, John is sponsored by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake up to wow. Maple Street Biscuits, absolutely fantastic. John, the flag football and the Olympics in 2028, it sounds cute and everything like that. But I go back to Robert Edwards, remember the Patriots rookie that blew his knee out in a flag football game on the beach. And what happens, John, when this Olympics runs into the NFL regular season and Justin Jefferson's not with the Vikings, he's out playing flag football? I wouldn't approve this. What do you say?
It's interesting you brought up Robert Edwards. I was standing on a sidewalk next to that game on the beach in Honolulu talking to Peyton Manning. And all of a sudden we see this ruckus under this big tent, and everybody looked, and the doctor saved Robert Edwards' leg and may have saved his life because the traffic was so bad to get an ambulance to the hospital would have taken time. I remember them knocking off all the food and drinks and everything off these tables for VIPs to put him up there, and it was scary. Now he came back, but he was never the same. And I go back to the World Baseball Congress last year, which was so exciting. Shohei Ohtani striking out Mike Trout to win it, and everybody was mesmerized by it. But I also remember Edwin Diaz, the best closer in baseball, blowing out his knee in a celebration. And Jose Altuve, the Astros, getting hit in the hand, broke his hand. He missed the first 2.5 weeks of the season. All it takes is one key player to blow out his ACL playing flag football. And the league, they voted for it 32-0 because Goodell wants it. And Goodell thinks it's great to spread the brand. They can only take one player per team. I doubt they could put in the contract you can't do it. They have in your contract, your standard contracts, teams put in there. You can't snow ski, water ski, climb mountains, all these things. You can't ride dirt bikes and things like that. But since the league wants this to happen, I think if a player were to get hurt and miss the season, the league should have to pay him, not the team. And there should be some salary cap relief. They're going to take one per team for tryouts, but there's going to be college players, XFL players, recently retired players. There's no guarantee just because you play in the NFL, you're going to be the best player. But I'm certainly not for taking away a player from his team. If they played it in June, that would be different. I just don't like the whole concept at all, but maybe I'm old-fashioned.
I'm with you 100%. And I'm going to say I'm fascinated by that Robert Edwards story, but you were there. But for those that don't remember, he was a Georgia running back drafted by the Patriots. He was amazing in college. And once that, I know that's the extreme, John, the ultimate extreme of blowing the knee out and the nerve and everything that happened with that. But it happened because of a silly flag football game that he probably shouldn't have been a part of.
And he shouldn't have been a part of it. And it turned out they started having these studies too late about playing them in sand like that. And they had to learn the hard way. And even if the player just missed a season, that's bad enough, especially a good player. I guarantee you the Vikings don't want Justin Jefferson, the best receiver in the NFL, playing flag football, but they can't say anything about it because Goodell is all behind it.
Yeah, 100%. I'm getting a few questions. Want me to ask you. Dale in Bellevue says, ask John about Cam Ward and Will Levis. Would it be okay for Brian Callahan to come out and say, Cam Ward is our guy running with the ones? What the big hoobaloo about saying they're going to split reps between Ward and Levis? What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you exactly why. If you're a head coach and you give a job over a veteran who's been busting his ass for, in this case, 2 years to try to help the team, that does not sit well with the players, the veteran players. You've got to make sure those veteran players understand why you're making a move. And that happens at most positions. And it's only a matter of time. They could start training camp. And this is the way it was with C.J. Stroud 2 years ago. Davis Mills, a returning starter. They started the off-season program. Mills got all the first-team reps. Stroud was second. We knew Stroud was going to be the starter, and we said it and broadcast it and televised it. But D'Amico Ryans kept doing it. Then he split the reps. And then finally, in the middle of preseason, he moved Stroud into the number one spot and made it official. But so much of what you do as a head coach, you're doing for the other players, not one position.
John McClain is with us. So do you think if they go through this process and Levis is just a good soldier, does what he's asked to do, knows kind of his role, could you see a scenario like if the Saints haven't figured stuff out, or maybe another team by the time you get to the middle of training camp or towards the end of training camp, that maybe there's a market for him?
Oh, gosh. I'm sure there are teams out there that had Levis rated high on their board, and they probably think, well, just because they couldn't get it out of him doesn't mean we can't get it out of him. And I would think the first one would be Jacksonville, because Liam Cohen coached him at Kentucky when he had the best season of his football career. That'd be one I'd be thinking about. But Trevor Lawrence, of course, is firmly entrenched as the starter. So, yeah, for a low pick, I think a guy picked as high as him who has size, arm strength, mobility. There's others out there say, hey, just because they didn't do it doesn't mean we can't do it.
Oh, so what you're saying is coaches have egos and they think that they can fix anybody, right? That's the conversation we've had.
Well, yeah, that's the way it usually is. And sometimes they're right. Their system, their coaching. Look at Green Bay and what happened with Willis. That's a great example. And a lot of that also is because players have a couple of years and they've learned. But you see that more often than not. I can't remember. Off the top of my head, I can tell you a lot of players who got traded at the early failures, who went other places and did well. And teams didn't have to give up a lot for them, if anything at all.
Well, how many – I mean, with Sam Darnold having the success, we'll see what happens in Seattle. But with what happened with him last year, I feel like that, coaches and teams are going to look at that situation and then go around the league and kind of try and figure out who's next to be that next Sam Darnold. I mean, that probably opened a can of worms.
Well, this time last year, nobody had a clue Sam Darnold wasn't going to get an opportunity, much less take advantage of it. And J.J. McCarthy better be good, because Darnold helped them win 14 games. And if they missed the playoffs or something, they could have signed Darnold to the deal that he got in Seattle, but they chose not to do it.
John, Paul Kaharski asked Brian Callen yesterday about what's different, from year one to year two, and his coaching, his growth and everything. And it's a great question, because now, he looks at things differently than he didn't do last year about, when to throw the challenge flag, who to talk to. How much growth do you expect to see in Callahan from year one to year two, now that he's been through the fire?
It's just like anybody else, whether you're on a talk show full time for the first time, you're going to get better. Most young coaches don't have a big ego thinking I got all the answers. He'll learn to delegate more. He'll learn which coaches, other than Daddy, he can trust the most. And that'll help him in his everyday job. And then, of course, players, they watch those things. They keep a close eye on the coach, because they want to know, is coaching are like players. You get better, you evolve. And the one thing that you have to do is your first staff is usually your worst, because you're out hiring your friends, and then some of those friends can get you fired. And you have to make sure that when you're going forward that you realize who was not good, and you get rid of them and do a good job replacing them. And so the second year, we always say the second year for a player is the one he should show the most growth, because he's learned what it's like to be a pro. Well, a head coach in his second year, assuming he's not destitute with talent, he should be making the most of his growth as a head coach. He already knows what it's like to be a pro, because he's been in the league for years. But when it comes to being the final authority and decision making and games management is humongous today for head coaches. And maybe he relies on somebody up in the box more, like the good head coach should. They don't see things on the sideline. They know when to go for it on fourth down, but when it comes to down and distance, and you have to realize you need help. And Mike Shanahan told me this when the Texans hired Gary Kubiak. Shanahan says all offensive head coaches want to start off calling plays, and then they realize so much more goes into being a head coach on game days. You're going to turn it over to your offensive coordinator within the second, third, or fourth year.
What has made D'Amico Ryan so good? He's a young coach.
Well, he also calls the defenses. He makes sure he's got good play caller. Bobby Slowick did a great job the first year, and last year they made him the scapegoat and fired him because his offensive line was terrible. And D'Amico works well with the players. He relies on people on game days because when he was a rookie head coach, I did not see him make one mistake on clock management because he has people up in the box to help him, and every coach does. And you have to rely on him. David Culley, who was the head coach here and one of my all-time favorite people, he had the guys up in the box one time telling him, let him score. It's the only chance you got for coming back. And he told us the next day at his news conference, they told me what to do. I know I shouldn't do it, but I just couldn't do it. He couldn't force himself to make them let him score, and they lost the game.
John, great stuff as always. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Guys, my pleasure. Thank you very much as always.
John McClain, presented by Maple Street Biscuits. Wake Up to Wow joins us every Wednesday at 9:30 here on the program. What if?
I got a good
You
one.
got a good one?
I got
All
a
right.
good one.
Coming up next, what if? Also, a little bit later, I have another top 25
Get it.
in the last 25 years for you. You will enjoy, I think. We'll do the what if game coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. Hour number 2, Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. It is absolutely gorgeous, which we have needed that with all the rain and storms and things that we've had. He's Big Joe. I'm Chase McCabe, Dr. Crane, Nick Frazier, hanging out behind the glass. He's still here, so that's good.
It is good.
Yeah,
Proud of you. It's a warning, though.
it is. Resetting our question of the day before we get to the what if game. It's the match game, right, Joe?
It is. So Bill Belichick is allegedly engaged to his girlfriend, and so we're talking about a prenup. There's no way in hell she's signing one. But if she did, Bill Belichick says, get the match game music for Dr. Crane there before you're escorted out of the building at 11:01. It's going to get you one more in there and go hang out with Skittles all day. Or is it Scuttles? Skillet. Skittles. Whatever the hell your pig name is.
1 hog, 2 skillet. Let's get these correct.
All right, sorry.
So many jokes.
Oh, yes. All right, so our question of the day is a match game theme with that. Bill Belichick, with the prenup, he says, hey, you can have my Super Bowl ring and my Super Bowl rings and Super Bowl trophies, but you cannot have blank. You can have my Super Bowl rings and my Super Bowl trophies, but you cannot have blank. Our responses in the first hour, you guys were absolutely fantastic. 615-737-1025. Call or text. Let us know. We'll read them.
Josh says she can have everything, but she cannot have his respect. Jeez.
She's already taken a lot of that, right?
7794. She can't have his hidden video collection.
It's probably Tom Brady getting dressed.
I don't know. Yeah, so keep those coming in. 1025 or 615-737-1025. We'll get to some of those. Andrew in Dover on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com, says we need a 1-hour show of Rex Road versus Stillman versus PK versus Big Joe with Adam asking the questions, and we call it 4 grumpy old men.
I'm a non-factor in that. Those guys would wipe the floor with me. That wouldn't be fun at all. So because I'd get mad and want to fight, and that's not good. That's not Christian of me.
You would.
All right, time for our what if. Ready for this?
Yes.
So we do this once a week, our what if question. And again, y'all's response is part of this. And I just think, there's a lot of what ifs that we do that we've done. The last one was, what if the Titans had beaten the Bengals in 2021? This is a little bit closer, more recent to us. And Dr. Crane, you ready for this one? You can weigh in, and Chase weigh in, everybody weighs in. What if Mike Vrabel wasn't fired?
Oh.
What if Mike Vrabel was still the head coach of the Tennessee Titans? What if in January of 24, Mike Vrabel and Amy Adams worked it out and he got total control of this football team? General manager and head coach, what if? I guarantee you, Chase McCabe, the what if on that, if Mike Vrabel would have been the GM and head coach, they would have made the playoffs in 2024. Not a doubt in my mind.
Well, all right. So you're saying that
he had total control and brought in his little buddies.
Okay, so there wasn't this whole BS collaboration thing.
Correct.
Ryan Tannehill would have been the starter in 2024, and yes, they would have made the playoffs.
Yep.
Tannehill would have stayed.
Yep. And
I don't think they draft Levis.
Nope.
I don't think he liked Levis.
I'm with you.
I don't think Will Levis is on this football team.
And
if
he
had total control,
right?
I don't think Will Levis is on this football team.
Would Derrick Henry still be here?
Yes.
Yep. If Mike Vrabel was in total control,
I don't think he would have wanted to leave.
Nope. I'm with you.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I think that's a good one. So what if Mike Vrabel was not fired?
That 23
So
teams,
John Robinson's out.
Is out.
Vrabel has full control.
Yep.
Carthon's here in title, but
he has no
but
control.
Vrabel has full control.
Do you remember the last football game Derrick Henry played at Nissan Stadium?
Yep.
Vrabel got that team. That was a meaningless game, right?
Right.
And the Jags were fighting for a playoff spot. If I remember correctly, were they not? I think they were.
I think so.
There's a few things that had to fall their way, but they very easily could have got a playoff spot. And the Titans beat the snot out of them that day. That was all Vrabel. Got them to do that.
It was a Vrabel special.
Vrabel could have turned that around in 24. Now, we bang on Vrabel all the time because he's a meathead and he makes us laugh and all that. But the guy's a hell of a coach in that situation. When it's us
Yeah.
against the world, I think in 24, that had been better than the Jags, that had been better than the Colts, that had been better than the Texans, had Mike Vrabel stayed head coach.
Well, because I think you even have to go back to 2023, which was the 1 year with Carthon and Vrabel. That was the whole collaboration year. That I think going back to the draft, they would have done things would have been different.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think they take Levis.
And I think in 24, I don't think he's taking a J.C. Latham at all because they're not picking. Probably not.
Yeah, well, I mean that's hard to say because
They're picking 18 down
Yeah.
because they made the playoffs. Oh, no.
I mean, who's to say
I'm sorry, that's wrong. They had to pick where they were in 24, but 25.
Well, no, I was saying because again, you got to go back because there's kind of two questions here. Like if you're saying he has full control, I think 2023 turns out completely different.
but he didn't have it. So I'm just saying 24, in January of 24, when him and Amy had the talk, and she said, all right, you got total control. Ran is nothing.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
24
All
on.
right.
Because he coached 23. So 24 on.
Right.
What would last year been like?
Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. So Levis is here. I still say Tannehill. He keeps Tannehill and Henry.
I think he fights with
runs it-
Tannehill.
I think he runs it back one more time.
Yep. And then he realizes that offensive line is garbage. He builds it up as fast, as quick as he can, and they go. And guys wanted to play for him. Yeah, he rubbed people the wrong way, but yeah, what coach doesn't rub people the wrong way? Hell, half the people that played Vince Lombardi hated him, but he got them to win. So the respect was there. And that's what Vrabel would have had. This team would have made the playoffs in 24. Then they would have been drafted number 1 in 25. They've been drafted 18 down.
So I think instead of taking Latham, he would have taken Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I think he would have taken Bowers.
Which I
I mean, Bowers, that's a Vrabel player.
Yep.
Like just tough, talented, but that's a guy that I think Vrabel would have liked.
no doubt, man. 100%.
So that's where, I mean, like if you look at the draft in 2024, like I don't know if he would have taken Tavondre Sweat at 38, but I think he'd like Tavondre Sweat.
Yeah. Oh, and there's no doubt.
He would like the idea of him at least. Cedric
He would
Gray,
like the idea to coach Sweat.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
see him
yeah.
out there in that bodysuit and
Yeah.
going through the drills.
Cedric Gray, probably the same. Jarvis Brownlee, I think he'd love Jarvis Brownlee. Is a 5th round pick. The Jaquan Jackson, maybe. And then James Williams and Jalen Harrell. Jalen Harrell, he would have loved. That's a Vrabel player.
Where's that guy from?
He was Michigan,
Michigan.
defensive end.
Yeah. Okay.
7th round pick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he would have liked him.
Yeah, I think it would have been a playoff run, and you're picking again way down the draft, and you get other players. But I think that's what happened. So that's our what if Mike Vrabel was given total control of this franchise in January of 24.
615-737-1025. We'll get your answers to our what if question. What if Mike Vrabel was never fired? What do you think things would look like? We'll do that coming up next here on Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel and broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
belief that this is going the direction she wants it to go?
I've, tried to answer those questions as consistently as possible. I'm focused on the football team, players, getting them ready. And, that's all I can focus on.
Mike Vrabel. Our what if question. What if Mike Vrabel was never fired? What if he was still the head coach?
And got total control.
Total control. 3032 says, if Vrabel is still the coach, the Titans would still be a respected team in the NFL and wouldn't likely plane crash the team. Jeez. Them in Houston would be predicted to win the division this year. And yeah, I'm not going to read that. Dustin in Hopkinsville says, if he weren't fired, Rand would have been run out of town, which eventually he was. We'd have a better running back, more sound defense, and win over 9 games, playoffs.
There's not a doubt in my mind they make the playoffs in 24. There's not a doubt in my mind.
Mike in Las Casas says Vrabel would still be asking Joe what he was doing with his hands.
My favorite moment, and if those who were there remember this, is when Vrabel comes to the podium and David Beauclair, great rider, standing to the right, kind of behind Vrabel. And Vrabel's like, hey, why don't you move over there? And Beauclair says, no, I'm not.
I'm good.
I'm good right here. And Vrabel looks at Robbie like, hey, can you move this guy? Robbie looks at Beauclair, and Beauclair just stands there. I'm like, it was one of the best moments because Vrabel did not have, and he was so bothered by a reporter standing behind him that he couldn't concentrate. I'm like, this is beautiful. And he didn't move just because Vrabel says move. He didn't do it.
Oh, that was early, right? That was like early in his tenure.
Yeah, because I was still like 2019. I was still there every day. Yeah.
Well, because Beauclair, everybody has their spots.
Yeah. Right.
Which, is what it is. Like, who cares? But it's like, I get it. You kind of get into a routine.
Yep.
And so it's just like, okay, whatever.
Maybe Vrabel had like a presser tick, or like he's twiddling his thumbs or something, and they didn't want Beauclair to see it,
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, some people have that.
David James back there to shut that mic off. Can't see it.
Producing, got it.
Doing great. You're doing great. 0178 says Traylon Burks would be a Pro Bowler. I don't know about that.
I think Traylon Burks would have been jettisoned by
he'd be
Mike
gone.
Vrabel's right foot back to Arkansas.
Wes in Clarksville, I liked Vrabel as coach, but just as what? I liked Vrabel as coach, but just as coach, it went south when he tried to be GM after Robinson got fired.
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that is the question. Would Vrabel have made a good GM? The answer is probably not. You could hit it.
But why not let him try? Let him try to do that.
I think where Amy made the mistake was trying to, force this relationship between him and Rand Carthon that was never going to work. And we all knew it was never going to work. And ultimately it didn't. And, Vrabel, I think, got to the point where it was like, look, I don't think he wanted – everything I heard was he didn't want full control. At least he said he didn't, but we all know coaches want full control.
I'm looking now. There's not one in the league. And you go back and you pull up Vince Lombardi, Paul Brown, George Halas to do that. I mean, it's daunting.
Well, Andy Reid has full control. Whatever Andy Reid wants to have happen will happen.
But then he's probably got a buddy that he really trusts in.
Yeah, he's got is it Veach he's got the GM.
Yeah.
But Andy Reid, what Andy Reid says goes. Pete Carroll with the Raiders, what Pete Carroll says goes. There's,
Belichick was the only coach GM with that level of success that was once given to Bill Walsh. He had total control over the Niners in the 80s.
Yeah.
Belichick was next. Yeah, it's Brett Veach is hand in hand with Andy Reid in Kansas City. They're on the same page with every single thing that they do. And then Reid credits Veach for finding Patrick Mahomes and targeting the 2017 draft. Now, when you got that kind of relationship, that's great. Vrabel would have brought in one of his buddies. Who's the buddy that he has?
Ryan Cowden would have been the
That's
Brett Veach.
Is he with them now in New England?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
It would have been Vrabel and Cowden, which I kind of looking back on, I wonder like why they didn't try that. But then, we saw how everything unfolded. I think what Vrabel realized because I think he and J-Rob disagreed on the A.J. Brown trade. And that's where things got a little sideways with them. I think they had disagreements like any coach and GM would, but that one was a tough one. And I don't know if there was a blow up or what it was. J-Rob gets fired. My guess is at some point Vrabel realized, crap, I had it pretty good. John and I worked well together.
Right.
I like Ryan. Ryan and I think the same way. So I'd like Cowden to take over and let's just continue having that same thing. And Amy went completely opposite.
When do you think Vrabel found out about A.J. Brown? Did he not have any warning?
I think he found out in the draft. I think he found out in the room.
At that moment?
Because the reaction he had shows me somebody that wasn't really given much of a heads up.
So he didn't know at 3:00 in the afternoon.
I don't know.
This could be a problem. I would love to know this.
Now my thing. Well, look, J-Rob's doing a podcast, so maybe he'll talk about that. But like my thing is, did John, with the relationship that they had, my thought is John would have gone to him and go, hey, Mike, just so you know, this isn't looking good with AJ. She's told me if we can't get something going, to move him.
Right.
So I just want you to be prepared for that. Maybe that conversation was had.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And although still some Joe Rexrode thinks that Robinson had the final say on that,
No.
I think he went,
I think
John presented the case.
Yes.
She said absolutely not. And then
I think she was not at that point in time prepared to pay him. I think, and I don't know if John like, here's the other thing. Now, players do this, but at that particular point in time, I'm like, hey, let's, you're going to get your money. Like
Right.
you deserve a contract extension.
yeah.
But let's get through the draft and then we'll work on it. Like they could have worked it out. And my guess is the agent and AJ were kind of like, no, we want this done now and all this
We're
stuff.
going to hold out.
And when you push and kind of put somebody's back up against the wall, then you got problems. And I think Amy looked at it as, well, I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm not going to let a player control me.
Mhm.
And probably said to John, like, hey, if he's not willing to wait and us look at this, then move him. And John probably had to say, look, Philadelphia's called. We've got a few other calls. They're interested. And then take it. But John ultimately is the one that's going to.
Well, Vrabel's reaction, you're right, that night. Was
I think it might, again, I don't know. My guess is that there might have been a conversation about it. But again, it was like when John answered Jared's question and said, I don't foresee trading AJ Brown. It's kind of like they knew it could happen, but they didn't think it would happen.
Right. Yeah. You're right. So, but again, I mean, with Vrabel, had he been given total control in January of 24, that team would have made the playoffs, would not have picked number 1 in 2025 and on and on. Derrick Henry, we agree on this, would have stayed here. Tannehill would have stayed here. He would have seen just how putrid the offensive line is and how he messed up on that and gotten better. And, it's funny. Who was his first pick as the Patriots coach? Tackle out of LSU. Yeah. So he realized, then and got it. You live and learn. I mean, heck, now
but he wanted Carter. I think he wanted Abdul Carter.
So he goes and gets a lineman then. So he gets an offensive lineman, realizes that. But I think they'd have made the playoffs, and then this team would have been a whole lot better than sitting there at 3-14 with a chance this year of being 3-14 yet again.
I'm curious of this. Do Titans fans that have been through this through thick and thin, that are kind of like us and a little bit jaded and think that, Amy has meddled too much, excuse me. Do you want the Patriots to do well? Like, do you want him to succeed?
I don't care.
Like, I'm curious if, like, deep down, if Titans fans are actively rooting for Mike Vrabel to be successful?
I'm going to say no because you're gone.
Yeah.
And I don't think.
I think some are, though. Like,
they're
there's
going to
a-
say, "Told you, Amy."
there's a little bit of part. I mean, like, I want, but here's the other thing. I like Brian Callahan. I think he's a good guy. So
because he has the point system.
yeah, the point. I like the point. I am pro point system because you're not, and I want him to be successful.
I just know
Um,
for me, do you care about Vrabel? I will keep an eye on him to see what's going on. But
I kind of care. Yeah, I
but
do. I kind of care.
so you want them to be good.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just the pettiness, but yeah, kind of.
Just to show, look what you had, Amy. You
I
let
mean,
him go.
basically, I'm just admitting I'm going to pull for like 5 teams this year. So
Might as well.
1137 says Burks couldn't play dead in a Quentin Tarantino movie. Brown never should have been traded, and Burks should have been sent to draft purgatory. You know, Cleveland or Vegas.
Yeah, right. All those.
0388 says a resounding yes.
And also there'd be no Calvin Ridley stupid contract on this team. That contract is so stupid. You wouldn't pay AJ Brown, but you're paying Calvin Ridley all that money. That wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
Not at all. Probably not.
I don't think Vrabel and Ridley would have vibed.
No, I don't think he'd have gone for it.
Yeah,
Not at all.
that's a good point too. I didn't.
But
think
you made a
about
good
that
point earlier. There's no doubt Tannehill's still here. There's
one. Oh, I think
no
so.
doubt he's still here.
I think they would have now. Okay, I think last year they would have run it back one more time.
Yep.
But would that have been like 1-year deals, or would that have been 2-year deals, or So I
Right.
don't know.
I've told the story before. I'm gonna go back again in 2019 during the joint practice with the Patriots when Mariota was absolutely awful. I mean, he was embarrassingly awful in practice. Tannehill was Brady was excellent. Tannehill was fantastic. And we had a shot when Mariota was quarterback. It was Justin Beasley and myself. We were behind Vrabel and Robinson, and they were shaking their head at how bad Mariota was. And I remember saying, he ain't going to make it through the year. And that's probably the only prediction I've ever made. They liked Tannehill. They liked the experience because he was a good quarterback. Mariota was not.
All right, there's a few texts I want to read when we come back on what I just asked with Vrabel. And then we have another top 25 for college football since the year 2000 that I want to hit Big Joe with. We'll do that coming up next. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday. Tune into the Indy 500 on 102.5 The Game this Sunday. Coverage beginning at 10 o'clock, brought to you by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer. Chasing Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game here on this Wednesday. So I just I asked this question of Titans fans: are you actively rooting for Mike Vrabel? Couple of you have responded on that. 0388 said a resounding yes. Kevin said Vrabel can be successful in New England, just not against the Titans. 1137, most of us Titans fans are just wishing for Callahan to bleep or get off the pot. We cannot stand another 3-win season. Wish Vrabel the best, but forever lose to the two-tone blue. Dustin in Hopkinsville, I want Vrabel to succeed. I hate being right, but most of the time I am. It's not my fault. Amy's wrong. I just get to endure her bad decisions.
All right, so that's a great. Let me ask you this then. Titans go into that Patriots game, they're 1-5. And Vrabel comes here and beats the snot out of them. Callahan gone?
I mean, based on her, based on her track record, I would say yes.
Gone. If they get embarrassed at
When
home,
is that? October
19th.
19th.
If they get embarrassed at home and they're 1-5, he's gone.
So that's after. So that's after the long road trip to the West Coast.
Correct.
They lose, or they go to Vegas. Then they come back here.
Yep.
If he spanks the goalposts and like just absolutely destroys them, yes, I think Callahan gets fired.
Not a doubt in my mind. There's not a doubt in my mind, because fans will be mad, and then she'll be like, and then gone. He's out of there.
Unless she trusts Chad Brinker and probably Burke Nihill so much, where they basically have said, because I do feel like there's been some conversations where they've kind of been like, you got to be patient. You got to be more patient. If they bring her, if they sit down with her and say, Amy, you cannot make any decisions based on what happens in this football game. And if she agrees to that, then maybe. But
Can you imagine having that conversation with her?
It's like talking to a child. Like, now listen.
Can you imagine to the owner, like, listen, here's what could possibly happen. I'd fire you for coming and doing that.
All right, but I'm going to turn this around. If she has kind of turned to that point where she has empowered them to have that kind of control, to basically be able to say to her, Amy, you have got to be patient. You cannot base your decisions on if your former coach that you made the collective decision
right
to fire. If he comes back and whips that ass, you cannot base the future of this football team on that game. If she has truly turned a new leaf, then I'm for that, because the good owners know what they don't know, and they bring people in to run the things they don't know.
Counter that. What if Borgans and them say, we want him gone?
I think, okay, but I think you do that at the end of the year. I think unless, again,
then you let this train wreck go.
But it also depends on what the football team looks like at that point. If
I agree.
If they're 0 and whatever and have not been in any games and Cam Ward looks terrible and all that stuff, then yeah, okay. Did you make that change?
So now this is going to play itself out. Now I'm just fascinated by how this stuff goes on. But because you go and you're 3-3 and Vrabel whips your butt, that's okay. It's going to hurt. She's going to be pissed off.
Yeah,
but
look.
But if you're 1-5 and he comes in here and he takes your soul, yes.
I think Vrabel's going to come in here and beat the what out of him. I do.
Yeah.
I mean, 0388 says, Vrabel's going to run up the score. Brother,
love it.
I would do the same damn thing. If I was him, I would go into that locker room before the game and just look at him and not sit and just say, you guys know what to do. And you look at Drake May and you look at Josh McDaniels, sling it. Like, just, coach, it's 42-0. Sling it. Because I want him to have 8 touchdowns today.
Because about a third of that crowd is going to be for Vrabel, even though you're wearing Titans uniform. But I think you shouldn't. I think you should not root for Vrabel.
And then if you're Brian Callahan, you say to your guys, you know what he's going to want to do.
You know what?
Shut him down.
You know what I don't want to hear that week? It's just another game. Just
Nope.
another game. We're not stupid. Don't insult our intelligence. It's not just another game. When you say it's just another game, that makes me think like you're dumb. So it's not another game. It's a huge game. Every game is huge. That game is going to be massively huge because of the collateral damage that happens if you lose that football game.
100%.
For sure.
For sure. All right, I want to do this real quick. And I've changed it. This is from Chris Vanini of The Athletic. College football's top 25 coaches since the year 2000.
Okay.
All right, let's just go ahead. Who is number one?
Saban.
Yes, he is number one.
Okay.
All right. Number 25, Mike Leach.
Okay.
24, Chip Kelly. Oregon,
Okay.
UCLA.
All right. I get it.
Number 23, one that is not top of mind, but I agree with it, Bill Snyder.
I'll give you that.
22, Kirk Ferentz.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're competitive each year.
21, Mark D'Antonio,
Uh,
Cincinnati and Michigan State.
Yeah. Okay.
20, Lincoln Riley, Oklahoma, USC.
Okay.
19, Kyle Whittingham, Utah.
Yes. Should be higher.
Number 18, Mark Richt, Georgia and Miami.
Should be higher.
Number 17, Les Miles, Oklahoma State, LSU, and Kansas.
He's an idiot, but underrated, maybe a little bit higher.
Number 16, representing Vanderbilt and Penn State, James Franklin.
Yeah, that's fine.
Number 15, Gary Patterson, TCU.
Could be a little bit higher.
Number 14, Frank Beamer, Virginia Tech.
Lower.
But on the list.
Yeah.
Number 13, Jimbo Fisher.
Won a national championship.
Yep.
Got to give him that.
Number 12, Brian Kelly.
I'd have him lower.
He coached Cincinnati or Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Notre Dame, LSU all since all that window.
Good Lord. And Butch followed him 2 of those.
Yep. This one, I don't know about this one. Number 11, Ryan Day.
Could be higher. Won a national championship. I'm telling you.
See, I think it could be lower. I think he's done a lot. He did a lot. Now he won it this year. I'll give him that. But he did a lot with Urban's.
Okay, but the path to win the national
Yeah.
championship this year
Yeah.
should be higher.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Number 10, Chris Peterson.
Very underrated coach.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
Not 10, though.
Number 9, Mac Brown.
Won a national championship, got Texas to another level. He's probably where he needs to be.
Number 8, Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah. Yeah. They won a national championship.
Number 7, Jim Trussell.
Oh, lower. He does not. I'd put Ryan Day ahead of him. That's just me.
I wouldn't. 1 national championship, 3 BCS title game appearances.
They got a tattoo.
I got a tattoo. Number 6, Bob Stoops.
Won a title in 2000. I'd have him lower. He's on the list, but I'd have him lower.
Number 5, Dabo Swinney.
Absolutely. 2 titles, competitive. Yep.
Number 4, Kirby Smart.
Yeah. 2 titles in 10 years at Georgia. Yep.
All right. You already know Saban's number 1. Who do you think 2 and 3 are?
Urban's 2.
Yep.
3, and it's probably right in front of my face, and I can't figure it out.
Pete Carroll. 2 national championships, 7 Pac-10 championships, 7 top 5 finishes in 9 seasons, 3 Heisman winners, 34 game winning streak.
I guess. I mean, a little bit of that's tainted because of the penalties. I mean, he's never the same with Harbaugh and Pete Carroll. They'll never go. They're banned from college football forever. I mean, I
Yeah.
know they're not going back, and I get that, but they left with a bad taste.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't have him up there.
Urban is number 2, 3 natties, 2 additional undefeated seasons, 7 conference championships, 9 top 5 finishes, and then obviously the GOAT, Saban of LSU and Alabama, 7 national championships, 11 SEC championships, 18 top 10 finishes, 16 straight. 13 top 5 finishes, and 4 Heisman Trophy winners.
There we go. I think that's very 1-2, and everybody else is in the next room.
Honorable mentions: Mike Gundy, David Shaw, Rich Rodriguez, Brett Bielema, Ed Orgeron, Art Briles, Steve Spurrier, Ken Niumatalolo, Jim Munkin, Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno, Bobby Petrino, Gary Pinkel, Troy Calhoun, and Frank Solich. No Philip Fulmer.
I mean, they went to the SEC title game in 01, 04, and 07. And this, how it ended, is that tainted his legacy as a head coach?
I mean,
that's another good what if one.
I still probably, I mean, do you put him in over Mike Leach? No.
Who has the greatest impact? You think about it, Mike Leach or Fulmer? Leach does.
Yeah. I mean, if we're talking the 90s, I mean, Fulmer.
But we're not, pal.
But okay.
We're not doing that. There's a few that I could have moved around on there. I think, Bill Snyder was so respected, but
yeah,
there's some that deserve to be where they are, and I have no problem with that.
Sure. All right. Just thought you'd find that one interesting. Coming up next, I'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays. We always enjoy that. This week's Nashville's best deal is Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon. Brian Callahan loading up the bus with the guys with a buy one, get one free admission. Beach Bend Park and Splash Lagoon, where parking, tubes, and sunscreen are always free. Get this great deal now at thegamenashville.com/deals while supplies last.
Marco Polo, just nonsense. You
You cannot base your decisions on if your former coach that you made the collective decision
Right.
to fire. If he comes back and whips that ass,
I'm sure Callahan's got that water noodle. He's slapping guys in the ass, running around. Gotcha. Tag, you're it. Marco Polo. Just nonsense.
there you go. That's where we've been today.
Really?
By the way, I have great news. Speaking of ass, I have great news.
Yeah.
The tush push remains alive.
Good.
The Packers' proposal to ban the tush push did not receive the 75% vote that it needed. So the tush push will remain.
Not a fan of the language. Whoever's doing the language part of that, not a fan. Family show.
I wasn't the one that said it.
Okay. All right. Just gonna have a talk with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. For sure.
With that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays. It is brought to you by Jarrett Companies, Inc. Jarrett Fire Division covers all of your business's fire safety needs. Just go to jarrettfire.com, above and beyond industry standards.
All right, gentlemen. First, we have American Red Cross Founders Day. So, maybe give some blood later.
Who would that be? Florence Nightingale? Is that her name?
It's a great question.
Florence
Joe.
Jefferson?
I don't know. Next one we have is Emergency Medical Services for Children's Day. So that's a shout out to those people that help out those young kids and babies. I need a patch for that day is today. So, everybody wants some sort of accomplishment, some little tag. International Tea Day.
Or does that mean you got to patch something up?
Yeah.
Or you're right.
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
that's what I thought.
Like a nicotine patch.
No, I don't think so. National Juice Slush Day is today. So
That's good.
if you enjoy the juices. National Memo Day is today. We get memos from time to time in the log. National
Nobody reads them. Nobody does what they say. But
National Waiters and Waitresses Day. Shout out to those.
Hold on. Will they bring us juices?
Sure, if you ask for it.
what kind of juice?
All right. Rapture Party Day is today.
Wait, what?
Rapture, just Rapture
I
Party.
pray. I pray I'm not at that party.
Yeah.
I pray to the good Lord above. I'm not at that party.
Okay. Next we have Sister Maria Hummel Day. All right. Turn Beauty Inside Out Day. Let's see what else we have. Oh, and to wrap it all up, National Strawberries and Cream Day.
Love it. Make sure you're wrapping it all up there, Dr. Crane.
Yep.
All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within two. Our first birthday, one of the greatest lines in cinema history when somebody says, what's your prediction for this fight? And he says, pain. How old is Mr. T today?
Clubber Lang. 74.
79.
73. Chaser on the board.
And he is still in New Orleans, Louisiana, thanking his mama for putting him in the WWE Hall of Fame. If you know, you know. The longest speech I have ever. I went to that,
Nice.
and he got put in the Hall of Fame. Dude talked for like an hour.
One of the best character actors of all time. He was in Stripes, Beverly Hills Cop. Judge Reinhold. How old is Judge Reinhold?
Didn't he live here?
I'm not sure.
I think he does. 73.
70.
68. Dr. Crane's on the board. It's 1-1. Don't know who that is. All right. Oh, yeah. Singer Ron Isley of the Isley Brothers.
81.
82.
84. Dr. Crane's up 2-1.
Damn you and your Price is Right.
The best TV mom of all time. We just talked about her. Carol Potter, the mom from Beverly Hills 90210. How old is Carol Potter? Better known as Cindy Walsh.
74.
77.
77 exactly. Dr. Crane knows who the best mom is. Singer Leo Sayer. How old is he today?
78.
79.
77. Chasing back on there. It's 4-2. Dr. Crane. Comedian and former U.S. Senator Al Franken.
82.
84.
74. The girl that was I can't pronounce her name, but she was the girlfriend in The Waterboy. Fairuza Balk.
57.
Vicky Valancourt. That's her name. 62.
51. If you're going to do that, get it correct.
I said it right.
Just kidding, man. All right, sports now.
Sound like somebody else I used
You
to.
better get this. Bobby Cox.
Skipper. 82.
84.
84 exactly.
Oh, dang.
Dr. Crane rolling 6-2. Former Twins first baseman that beat Bobby Cox, Kent Herbeck from the Twins.
64.
60.
65. Chasers battling back at 6-3 now. Former Green Bay Packer running back, won a Super Bowl with them, Dorsey Levens.
58.
59.
55. Oh, man, this guy makes me feel old. Ricky Williams, Heisman Trophy winner, the one that Mike Ditka gave up the entire draft for the Saints to draft him. Ricky Williams from Texas.
44.
52.
48. 2 left. Number 1 draft choice in Major League Baseball. Boy, the Demons got him, though. Josh Hamilton. Remember, he had a rehab assignment here about 10 years ago.
Yeah, but he rebounded from all that. He had a
But
good
he's
career.
back in,
Oh, is he?
yeah.
Oh, dang. Josh Hamilton, I'm gonna say
It's 6-3.
is 42.
He won the 08 Home Run Derby, I believe.
Yes, he
at
like
Yankee Stadium.
crushed it.
Yeah. I'm going to go with 51.
44, which means down to our last birthday at 6-4. This is so good. Our final birthday, the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills. How old is Josh Allen today?
29.
28.
At the buzzer, one Charles McCabe nails it. 6-6. And yes, we end on ties because you guys don't deserve anything else more than that.
I don't know why you get to decide that, but
It's my game, so that's it.
it's okay.
After you do your
my,
HR meeting with Dr. Crane, we can have our meeting.
yeah, my office after. By the way, Tim Corbin is going to lead off, pun intended, DVD 11:05 today. The skipper for the Vanderbilt Commodores will join DVD, which is next.
Great guest to have. Hey, we leave our show every day telling our guys out there that we love you. If you are struggling, please talk to somebody on your cell phone. You could call or text 988. We tell you every day that you are tremendously loved. We all go through the dark clouds, but look, today it's beautiful. And that's what happens is get through the dark clouds. We're here for you. Just know that you are loved so much. Not only do we love you, but more importantly, more than anything else in this world, God loves you.
Amen to that. Peace, love, rock and roll, DVD. Tim Corbin up next, 1025.